Nomanos, nomanos, nomanos. No. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular Sunday service. It's a regular Sunday service, but it will be a joint service between Japanese and English because of the Fujinkai semi-annual general meeting that we're having following the service. 皆さんおはようございます。ようこそ、本日のお参りにご参加していただきました。本日は条例法座なんですが、この後婦人会の、年に2回ある総会、がありますので、そのため、今日のお参りは日本語と英語の合同礼拝とさせていただいています。それではまず最初に黙想とお念仏で今日のお参りを始めたいと思います。So we'll begin with silent meditation, followed by the recitation of the Nembutsu, or the name of the Buddha, for the service. Now, also, we're going to be reading our pledge, and I can't remember. Can I ask you? So we'll have the silent meditation followed by the recitation of the Nembutsu. Namanobs, 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 namanobs. Next, we're going to have the reading of our pledge, which was handed out. It's also going to be on the screen as well for those who are joining by Zoom, but those who are here, it's also going to be on the screen if you wish to read that as well. Okay. それでは私たちの誓いを英語と日本語でいただきたいと思います。Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I shall carefully share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall be open-minded and act accordingly, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I shall share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life we have received, I shall live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who continues to emancipate all. and we're going to just read this in Japanese for those who read Japanese. 日本語で私たちの誓いをいただきたいと思います。画面に映っています。私たちの誓い。一つ、自分の殻に閉じこもることなく、穏やかな顔と優しい言葉を大切にします。微笑み語りかける仏様のように。一つ、むさぼり、怒り、愚かさに流されず、しなやかな心と振る舞いを心がけます。心安らかな仏様のように。一つ、自分だけを大事にすることなく、人と喜びや悲しみを分かち合います。慈悲に満ち満ちた仏様のように。一つ、生かされていることに気づき、日々に精一杯努めます。人々の救いに尽くす仏様のように。ナマンダブス、ナマンダブス。We will continue on with the sutra chanting. We're going to be chanting the Junirai, which you'll find on page 63 of your Seiten. It is also on the screen as well for those who are joining by Zoom and even those who are here in the Hondo. So we'll be chanting together Junirai. じゃあ皆さんと一緒にJuniraiをいただきたいと思います。Naman Nops, Naman Nops, Naman Nops, Naman Nops. Naman Nops, Naman Nops. Keshu teni shokugyo amida sen ryozoku son zai mi me anago無量武士主意ね金色心情如戦のシャマタ行如造部両目上脈小蓮華高雅長来弥陀尊面前上如満月以降有如千日月少女天空くしら高雅長来弥陀尊観音頂戴観地宇宙主寿名相将軍信福下道負け馬高雅長来弥陀尊無微無偶五条上主の具下下図女国小さり悪道具自在高雅長来弥陀尊実母妙門菩薩衆無量
쇼마조사나 이쇼슈조간리기지 고가 조라이미다소 곤다요 겐지 쇼게 랭온 쇼조 메다이사 오히사 조뇨센노 고가 초라이미다소 지보쇼라이 쇼버시 갱엔진스 시안락 생고성겐 조극경 고가 초라이미다소 쇼무조무가토 야근요스이가드냉여로 이슈세 범무묘지 보가 조라이미다소 희선부세드무 악으며 야금은 연이 악은어흐 주니 시신 겨이성 고가 조라이미다소 희선무료뱅교 무쇼슈 악지식이 오저의 다이시보다이 고가 조라이미다소 가세즈이 성그덕지 슈zem은 요가이스이 쇼약의생어 쇼우샤 에세슈요 쇼히고 간이싱은 어그 면허 どうぞもないし往生Next, we're going to read the English translation of the Junirai, which you'll find on page 70 of your Seiten, or it's also on the screen. The 12 Adorations, Junirai translation. Before Amida Buddha, who heavenly beings worship, I humble myself in deepest reverence. In his wondrous land of bliss, surrounded is he by countless bodhisattvas. His golden form shines forth, pure like the king of Mount Sumeru. His practice of truth is steadfast like an elephant's pace. His eyes radiate like pure blue lotus blossoms. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. His countenance is perfectly pure and round like the full moon. His majestic light shines like 1,000 suns and moons. His voice is like a heavenly drum, yet like a heavenly bird, kokila. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. Avalokiteshvara wears upon his crown the image of Amida adorned with many precious jewels. He subdues the arrogance of demons and heretics. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. Incomparable, vast, and pure his virtues are, clearly extending like vast open space, his acts freely benefiting all. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. Bodhisattvas from the 10 quarters and countless maras always venerate him. He dwells with vowed power for the sake of all beings. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. In the golden treasure pond where the lotus flowers bloom, established with goodness is a wondrous throne, where reigns the Buddha like the king of the mounts. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. From the 10 quarters, bodhisattvas come. Revealing wondrous powers, they attain blissful state. Honoring his face, they offer eternal homage. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. All things are transient and without self, like the moon on water, lightning, shadow, or the dew. The Dharma cannot be expressed by words, the Buddha proclaimed. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. No words of evil are in his land, no fear of evildoers, nor evil paths. With sincere heart, all beings worship him. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. His land of infinite expediencies is without degenerate things or wicked beings. Upon rebirth, non-retrogressive bodhi does one attain. Thus I prostrate myself before Amida Buddha. Thus have I praised the virtues of Amida Buddha. Boundless are they like the water of the sea. Upon receiving these pure and good qualities, may all beings be reborn into his land. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Once again, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us, whether you're here or on Zoom. Because it is a joint service, I'm going to just say a few words in Japanese first, and then give my talk in English following. それでは、一言このご縁をいただき、お話をさせていただきたいと思います。本日はこの条例法座にようこそ、皆さんお参りしていただきました。早くもこれが、1月の最後のお参り、もうあっという間に1月も過ぎ去っていきましたが、先週はここで本恩庫のお参りが行い、その本恩庫には懐かしく、ここの元開教師であった菊池真澄先生が、ご講師として、参加していただいたわけなんですが、彼女がですね、ここに、金曜日に着いたのかな。
で、金曜日の一日、まあ、車であちこち案内したわけなんですが、その話してる中でですね、菊池先生といろいろ話していると、誰々さんがもう亡くなってる、誰々さんがもう亡くなってると繰り返してですね、この中心メンバーの方々が多く、彼女が日本に帰られた2008年の春だったんですが、それからですね、この17年の間に、多くの献身的なメンバーたちが亡くなり、非常に彼女は、まあ、驚きとやっぱり悲しみを感じてたわけなんですね。で、やっぱりこの私たちの人生を見てもですね、確かに、まあ、お釈迦様が言うには、人生には苦があると。で、その苦しみの中の一つの最大の苦しみでもあるのが、お釈迦様の言葉では、愛別離という、愛しているものとお別れしなければならない苦しみがあると。でも、そこにやはり仏様の支えがあると。ね。ですから私たちもこの多くの愛しているものとお別れする中にも、阿弥陀様の働きがあり、必ず、またお上手で再会できるという、ね、呼び声を聞いて、こうやって、毎週お参りしたり、追悼式をしたりするわけなんですが、その亡くなられた方々も今実は阿弥陀様と一つになって私たちを導いていただいているのではないかということをですね、先生といろいろ話しているうちに、そういう話になったわけでございます。まあ簡単でありましたが、念仏を唱えて日本語の方は返させていただきたいと思います。ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏。So, prior to the service, I was making a disclaimer to those on Zoom that my Dharma talk may have a little bit of crude language. I won't say vulgar, but so I actually have a title to this morning's Dharma talk, and the title is SHIT happens. Okay, yeah. So shit happens. Okay, and the reason why, well, first of all, I should clarify this. So. Last week we had our Honko service, and we were very fortunate to have Reverend Masumi Kikuchi join us for that service. And she came on the Friday with her son, Liu Ten, and on that Friday I picked them up at the airport, and then I drove her. She had some errands to run, so I drove her around Vancouver. And as we were going from place to place, and we were talking about many different things, but during our conversations, she would talk about, oh, how's so-and-so doing? Or and there's so many that have passed on since she went back to Japan in 2008. And she was very happy to come back here, but at the same time, hearing about the loss of so many of our core members, she was saddened by that. And so after she left, and I was going over some old, newsletter stuff. This weekend is the deadline for our newsletter. The publication is coming up. So in going over stuff, I thought, what was it like back when I first came here? And so I started the ministry here in Stevenson in September of 2008, right? And so I looked up, I was just wondering what I wrote in the February 2009 article. January and February 2009 is a very memorable time. Do you know? Does it ring a bell to any of you? Why it's such a memorable time? Well, I'll get to that in just a second, but before I get there, the reason why, one of the reasons why I chose SHIT Happens for my Dharma talk title is that this morning, as I was walking here from our house, I got dive bombed by a bird. And I didn't even notice that until I got here and I was in the washroom. I look in the mirror and I've got this bird poop on my shirt, down my shirt, and I thought, oh, how did that get there? But I thought, oh, that's a really appropriate, that's a Dharma message title. Shit happens. It happened to me. I got dive bombed this morning by a bird. But going back to 2009, as I was reading the article, the title of that article that I had chosen was, "We Have Chosen Hope Over Fear." Now, does that ring a bell? So in January 2009, there was an inauguration, historical inauguration of the 44th president of the United States, the first Afro-American president, Barack Obama, right? And I had written how during his inauguration speech, I was glued to the TV and how eloquent he was and how he had, the theme of his talk was this: we have chosen hope over fear, right? And the following day, that was the headlines in many of the newspapers, was this: we have chosen hope over fear. So now, here we are, 2025, and I'm sure I didn't watch the inaugural speech, but I caught the news, feeds about it, and, I thought, how appropriate my theme, my title, shit happens. It's happening to us politically as well. I think Yvonne's probably laughing down in Texas because, well, maybe not laughing, but yeah. So that's the reality, is that, in 2009, there was this great hope, not just for the nation of the US, but I think globally, there was this great hope. Things look bright and upcoming. Of course, since then, we've had many things that happen, including COVID-19 pandemic, and now it's going to be 2 terms of, well, I'm not even going to mention his name, but how this ties in with Buddhism is, in fact, that was the very fundamental first teaching of the Buddha, right? He said, there is going to be suffering in life. Shit happens, right? But what the Buddha said is, how do we deal with that? How do we understand that? And the Four Noble Truths, the very first teaching, he said, first we have to acknowledge it. It happens, right? And then this morning, if I didn't look in the mirror, I probably wouldn't have noticed it. But it just so happened when I looked in the mirror, I said, hey, what the heck? How'd that happen? But there was an acknowledgement there. And that facing into that mirror is like listening to the teachings. When we listen to the teachings, we acknowledge, yes, suffering happens in life. And I'm joking around here, but there are much greater sufferings that happen in each of our lives. We get old, we get sick, and we pass away. And we part with loved ones as well. But the teachings, the Buddha said, how do we deal with that? That's what's the most important. And we deal with that by listening to the Dharma and understanding what is the right path, how we live our lives, how we share with one another, how we come together as a Sangha. Despite the fact that we've seen many of our members who have passed on, it all hasn't been bad. We've had, when I think of all the events that we've had here where communities, despite the losses, we've come together, we've bonded together, we share in our loss, but we also share in the joy. And that's a very important aspect of Buddhism, is this coming together, whether it's here or by Zoom, and we also still come together. And so I'm grateful that we're here today, and despite the fact that it happens, we can listen together. And I hope as we go through 2025 that we can share together in the Dharma and grow together as a Sangha. And so I thank all of you for being here today, as well as those of Zoom, for reflecting on this moment and realizing, yeah, it happens, but life is also still very good. And so I'd like to close my Dharma message this morning with Gassho. So please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, so we'll close this morning's service with the singing of Ondok-sang. So I'm going to ask you to please rise for the singing of the Ondok-sang. Okay, and where's it? Please be seated. This will bring to a conclusion our regular Dharma service for Sunday service for today. Next week, of course, we have our Shotsuki monthly memorial service for February. Also coming up, just wanted to let you know, in February, I will be holding 4 lectures, well actually February and the beginning of March. Starting on February 12th, I think it was a Wednesday, February 12th from 7:30, and then going February 12th, 19th, 26th, and then March 5th, is it? Yeah, March 5th. And these lectures, what they are, so I know I'm going to hear some groans, but in the second weekend of March, I'm actually going to Hawaii. Groan, right? I've been invited to go to Maui, but it's work. It's not a holiday. I have to give four seminars over the course of a weekend in Maui. So the lectures that I'll be giving starting February 12th are basically my dry run at these seminars. So if you're willing to be a guinea pig and want to attend these talks by Zoom, please let me know. And it's also in the newsletter, so I will add your name. And I'm looking for comments and, this went well or this didn't go well, whatever. But so it'll be February 12th, 19th, 26th, and March 5th. And Wednesday nights at 7:30. So if anybody wishes to join us for those, I'd be happy to have you join us. Yeah. And of course, we have the Fujinkai semi-annual gathering from 11:30 this morning. So thank you all for coming, and if you're not staying for the gathering, then please enjoy the rest of your day as well. Okay, thank you. And thank you all to those who joined by Zoom. Thanks, everybody.